I don't talk to my family. They're irrelevant. If they got followers or got rich, I'd probably talk to them again.
Cut your family off. Oh, you can cut off a couple cousins, but your mother and your father, baby, they can go too.
Hey guys, it's Misha and welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about a very pressing issue, which is the rise in individuals who are becoming estranged from their own family members. I found this article I want to check out that talks about why this might be happening and also how a lot of people from Gen Z, no surprise there, are the ones that are completely cutting off ties from their family. And we also see a lot of this on TikTok, another big surprise of people talking about how politics is actually what caused them to completely stop talking to their family members, right? Depending on who they voted for or who they want to vote for. So that's exciting. We're going to take a look at the TikToks as well. Before we begin though, please make sure you are subscribed and have hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. Okay, so why so many young people are cutting off their parents? It feels like whispers of estrangement are everywhere lately, in your group chat, at your happy hour, and of course on TikTok. It's because the data is staggering. Carl Pillemer, a professor at Cornell University and author of Fault Lines, Fractured Families, and How to Mend Them, found that in 2020, 27% of Americans over the age of 18 were estranged from a family member. That's more than a quarter, although the actual proportion could be much higher because many people are still reluctant to discuss such a personal and stigmatized topic. Although there is a lack of long-term research, Pillemer believes estrangement rates are increasing in the US and other Western countries, especially in white and non-immigrant people under the age of 35. The rise in millennials and Gen Zers coming forward to discuss their own crisis, the hashtag #ToxicFamily, has 1.9 billion views on TikTok, may suggest that American families are severing ties at an all-time high. Okay, so let's take a look at some TikTok. Just cut off my Trump supporter family. F you. The comments. See, the thing is, I love my family even though a lot of them like Trump. I personally don't like Biden or Trump. I wouldn't kick my family out of my life because of political beliefs. Unfortunately, the person replies, when you vote for Trump, you vote for his sexist, racist, and homophobic wants. I won't stand by them being that way. To say I'm never going to talk to my mom again because she liked Trump or because she likes Biden, that is crazy. And this is coming from someone who was very, very far left, who came home and argued with my family almost every single day because, I was like, oh my God, after a whole day of being indoctrinated at school, I came back, I was like, how can these people not understand? Everyone's a bigot. They're so hateful. Oh my God, they don't go along with the, gender ideology and all this stuff. I never thought, okay, bye. I don't need this. I'm out. That's my family. What are you talking about? You can't just opt in and out of your family. Or at least I don't think you can. I'm just curious how far that goes. Do you say the same thing with friends? We already know there's a decline in just friendship in general. People are more isolated now. People are more lonely now. Do you also do that with your friends? We know they do. The typical leftist behavior of cutting off friends who, have a different point of view. But where does it end? Do you also do this with colleagues? How are you going to cut off a colleague? How are you going to cut off a boss? You're just going to say, I don't need this. This vibe right here, this toxicity because of who you voted for, I don't need it. You're going to have to sit in your room unemployed for the rest of your life because of the fear of encountering a different opinion. That's gonna get old very quickly. It's like we're shielding people, treating them like children, from different opinions. And of course, context matters. If, you had to cut off ties with your family members because abuse, because neglect, because maybe an addiction was playing a role or some serious mental health issue, I understand. It's really case by case. But because of who they voted for, because of their political beliefs, I can't imagine that. Just never talking to them again because of that? Me cutting off Trump supporter family members from contacting me. They can't even contact you. I think there's also this unwillingness to agree to disagree, right? It always has to end in a fight and then sometimes just estrangement. And also this idea that the therapists are encouraging to prioritize your mental health 100% of the time. Now, don't get me wrong, mental health is important, but sacrifices have to be made sometimes. Sometimes you do have to have difficult conversations with family members, stressful ones, right? And that's normal. That happens, not just with family members, with friends, with, at your job, at school. That's a normal part of life. You can't always be coddled and always feel safe and always feel you never step out of your comfort zone. That's not life. That's not real life. So Uncle Tim voted for this candidate and I don't like that candidate. I think, that's part of the problem is technology too. because a lot of misunderstandings can occur. You see someone, a lot of Gen Z, they're very sensitive. And so they see something they don't like online. It's like, the urge to block them in real life too now. Me, when an American tells me I should cut off my parents forever just because we have different political views, as if they aren't literally the people who raised me, feed me, house me, are the only ones who will comfort me when I'm crying, my only friends, and the ones who check in on me at all. I think this is interesting that it's happening in the non-immigrant households more often. I think because different cultures, they value family bonds more than others. And for me, for example, I think it's always been expected that we take care of our aging parents and our aging grandparents. It's actually something you take pride in. I did grow up in an immigrant household. My brother and I were born and raised in America, but our parents and our grandparents, they always taught us like family is the most important thing in your life. That always comes first. Whereas what you're hearing from these people, it's like, oh, my racist, bigoted, conservative grandparents, parents, uncles, whatever. I don't want to talk to them ever again. Screw them. They fed me, they took care of me. But then, I didn't like what they said at Thanksgiving, so I'm just never going to talk to them again. In the comments, it says, my cousin died a couple days ago after cutting off his parents like 10 years ago. None of his friends were at his funeral, just his family.
3 things I wish I knew in my early 20s. Cut your family off. I know you said that in the last video. I know what I said, and I said what I said. This is for the people that were commenting saying, oh, you can cut off a couple cousins, but your mother and your father are baby. They can go too.
Why are we telling 20-year-olds this?
Have you ever regretted writing a song about one of your exes?
Never.
Never, ever, ever?
No, because you don't write a song about them unless you know that you don't really want to know them anymore.
Now, see, this is the opposite happening, where I'm guessing the parent or whoever in the family is cutting off the person in Gen Z, the adult child, I'm guessing, right? So something so sad about religion is that it will make you cut your family off just for not believing anymore. You can raise a child, love them their whole life, but cut them off and not talk to them for the rest of their life for not believing. Now, that's just as bad, in my opinion. You may feel like a hero for cutting off your conservative relatives, but it just buries them deeper into their ideology because there's no one to challenge them. Not associating with them makes you feel good, but it creates echo chambers and deepens the divide. If your why is mental censored? Anyways, if your mental health permits, use empathy to see their point of view. Continue having hard but loving convos. I love this. And I'm assuming this person does not like conservatives, but okay, I agree with the message. That's the point. You should be having hard conversations, especially with your family, so you can try to see eye to eye, so you can try to find, the middle ground.
White people, you guys cut your family members off like that. My sister's gluten intolerant. F her. I'm not buying 2 types of bread.
I don't think that's a reason to admire white people. And of course, this is not all white people, but yeah, it seems to be, from the statistic, right, from the article, it seems to be mostly white people, but from non-immigrant households. A lot of these people seems to be because they don't like something that, I don't know, their 80-year-old grandpa said on Facebook, and therefore, bye, peace out. Because 80-year-old grandpa thinks men are men and women are women and can't accept you as Aziz Amzur, you're just never going to talk to him again? I have to protect my peace. Because of minor disagreements, you can cut off your family member. Right? Because then they go to TikTok and they see people saying that. Jordan was raised in a Southern Baptist household in North Carolina, where she was expected to attend church multiple times a week, accept Jesus Christ as the way to salvation, and honor her mother and father. The last point was right there in the 10 Commandments. So when Jordan made the decision to stop talking to her dad, the choice stood in defiance of the lessons of her upbringing. But it was also because of them. She was tired of being told that women should submit to men, a belief ordained by the religion in which she was raised. She was finished obeying. Decided to leave the church at 32. Tension rose between her and her father because their parents were married. Jordan says she held back from cutting her dad off despite the fights they had about religion, politics, and her exit from the church. But after one last explosive call, Jordan hung up the phone and had a moment of clarity. She realized she was finished, done. Looking back, she says he's lucky she waited that long. While he called and texted her repeatedly, Jordan didn't budge. It's an extreme privilege to have a great relationship with your adult children, she says. I was always hoping, while we weren't talking, that he would take my silence as a cue to get himself together and to apologize to me. I mean, I wish there was more context. I wish she went into detail about what he said that warranted such a response, like to just never talk to him again. Because right now it's sounding like because she is not religious, because he is, having these arguments with her about religion and politics, she decides to just cut off ties. Then he was hospitalized. She went to go see him. She thinks she did the right thing, but part of her grief is accepting that she'll never know if given more time, he could have ever changed. Well, you would know if you talked to him, right? Again, I don't know the specifics of the story, but because of politics, because of religion, I know religion is very important to a lot of people, but I don't know, like her dad's making an attempt or was making an attempt to talk to her and she refused.
We found an ice cream. I opened it up, licked it.
Let's go. I decided to drink mouthwash and gargle it back into the bottle and put it back on the shelf. It's minty and fresh.
The way you spit it back. Classic. We didn't do anything wrong because when we did our videos, we actually paid for the products.
We did this because we want our faces out there.
We wanted attention. There was literally no other reason besides us literally just wanting to be famous. We're definitely not gonna stop here. If anything, we're just gonna get more and more followers. I mean, I don't talk to my family.
Why not?
They're irrelevant.
They're irrelevant?
None of them have followers. If they got followers or got rich, I'd probably talk to them again.
Now, hang on a minute. Did you just say I don't talk to my family because they don't have followers?
If they had followers, they'd be here right now. Can anyone tell me like what I would talk to my mom about if she's not gonna be making me relevant?
Yeah, like, hi, Mom.
Now I have a career and I'm famous. Like, that's what happens when you get famous, you cut people off.
Famous? Who are you?
Seriously?
Everyone's upset with it, maybe because you guys aren't relevant either, so you don't understand.
And I know they're probably putting on this character and that this is rare. Like, you don't usually hear this as a reason for why an adult child stops talking to their parents because they're irrelevant. If this is real, that's horrible. That's what social media does to people. And I guess I'm irrelevant. I guess you're irrelevant, or I hope you're irrelevant in this case, because I don't get it. I think another issue here is that the words toxic, triggering, trauma, those are thrown around so much now that they just lose their meaning. Because, you were misgendered last week. That was traumatizing versus like child abuse. And also I wonder if because there are higher rates of anxiety and depression, just mental health problems in general among Gen Z, does that make them less equipped to deal with these sorts of conversations and fights sometimes? Because while yes, overdiagnosis happens, a lot more people are going to therapy now, which we don't know if that's really a good or bad thing because a lot of these therapists, they're not good therapists. And so, yes, that's all true. But at the same time, I do think that technology and social media especially does play a role in these mental health problems we're seeing, especially, in the younger population, in the younger generation. So I wonder how that impacts an individual's ability to sit down and have a civilized conversation, even if you have a different belief, even if it makes you uncomfortable. Still sit down and think to yourself, this is my mother, this is my father, this is sister, brother, whoever, and I want to preserve this relationship with them. That's very important to me. This bond we have, this is my family, and so I'm willing to be uncomfortable. I'm willing to not to put myself first in this situation and get through this so that we can reconcile. I don't think enough people are doing that now. I think they're very quick to cut off, the ties. And again, case by case basis. If anything, I think this is a good reminder of the importance of, communication and patience from both parent, child, sister, brother, whatever the relationship is. And I'm curious what you guys think. Do you think this trend is a good sign? Do you think it's problematic? Have you had any experience with cutting off family members? Please comment that below. Also subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.